Hello everyone, it is time to talk about Steven Spielberg's West Side Story. Just in case you need the basics, the film is a reimagining of the iconic musical. The story takes place in New York City in 1957 and follows what happens when a forbidden romance emerges amidst the fierce rivalry between the Jets and the Sharks. With classic beloved material like this, I do always find it helpful to let you know where I'm coming from. And I've seen West Side Story a few times on stage and on screen. It has been a little while since my latest rewatch, though. And on top of that, I also know that this material has a special importance to many out there, and I can't quite share that. So I really would highly recommend seeking out thoughts from members of the Latino community on this one as well. I'm going to include some links for you in the description section of this video, so do check those out. As for where I stand on this version of West Side Story, I think it's very, very good, very well made. You know that I often try not to compare films in a review, but this feels like it could help clearly convey how I feel about some of West Side Story. There is a fervor that I felt watching In the Heights and Tick, Tick, Boom, and in some scenes, not all, but a few scenes here and there, I think that West Side Story just didn't have that same energy and enthusiasm. And all of those scenes that I'm referencing were heavily focused on Ansel Elgort as Tony. He is a talented singer, but so much of his material in this movie just feels flat. And I think that not so great quality of his work is further exacerbated by the fact that literally everyone around him is just a top tier, exceptional movie musical star. I am going to get to some of those standouts in a moment, but just want to take a second to say, please, please, please take the time to watch the credits in the film and or scroll through the West Side Story IMDb page after you see it. Look up the names and the faces of those Jets and Sharks actors with less screen time who still managed to pop so big and deliver very memorable performances in those smaller roles. As for the headliners now, Rachel Zegler has a downright angelic voice, and I am totally convinced that she is going to go on to do very big things, even beyond the big projects she's already booked. But the Tony and Maria moments were some of my least favorite of the film. I could really feel that spark between Ariana DeBose as Anita and David Alvarez as Bernardo, but it just wasn't the same for Elgort and Zegler. Also, 'tis the season, so I don't know, let's say I had to choose just one person from the West Side Story ensemble to root for this Oscar season. It's DeBose. She is just electric as Anita. I don't know if this is how DeBose felt tackling a role like that, but from my perspective, that performance was just oozing with confidence and clarity and just such purpose. She goes above and beyond with Anita's biggest beats, like America, for example, but it's the little things down to the way that her Anita looks at the other characters that makes her feel so full, makes her intentions so clear, and also has you sharing in all of her goals and passions. Now, Mike Feist, get ready. He's gonna blow up after this movie, and he should. He is downright exceptional as Riff. Not only is he a phenomenal singer and dancer, but he has such natural screen presence where you just can't take your eyes off of him. And that's a very natural quality of his that serves this role very well. When Riff is in a room, he commands it. And with Feist in that role, you just feel his authority big time. Another element that I am especially impressed by here are the changes made, and in particular, what we get from Rita Moreno's character. It can be a very, very risky thing to make a big change to such iconic source material, but Spielberg and writer Tony Kushner delivered a big winner in that respect with the character of Valentina, Doc's widow. Having Moreno involved is a thrill because she delivered an Academy Award-winning performance playing Anita in the 1961 film, but it isn't just that. The thrill doesn't just come from that. Her work as Valentina here almost feels like the glue holding this whole world together, and like her influence is changing the game in a valuable, meaningful way throughout the movie. She truly does strengthen everything around her in this, the world, and also all of the characters within it. As for the technical side of things, the dance choreography is wildly impressive. In particular, I could watch the G Officer Krupke performance over and over again, and likely will. The way they utilize location space in so many of the songs is just next level, highly cinematic material. There are some digital effects that didn't quite land for me. The one that stands out the most would be the backdrop during the cool scene. It just didn't work, and I found it a little distracting. But when you've got such captivating performances, songs and story beats playing out, for the most part, those effects issues are just mere hiccups here and there. All right, that brings us to my score. I am going to give West Side Story 4 Deweys out of 5 on the Dewey Decimovie scale. This is almost an entirely great adaptation that unfortunately has a big old weak spot, and it's with one of the main characters in the film. There is no overlooking the fact that that does impact the overall experience, for me at least, but it is still undeniable that there is so much outstanding work on display here otherwise, and that work really does need to be celebrated, and I most certainly will be doing so for the next few months and beyond as well. All right, those are my thoughts on the 2021 edition of West Side Story. If and when you see the film yourself, you know what you gotta do. Share your own thoughts in the comments section below. I need to know what you think about this movie as well. Now, Patreon shoutouts. A lovely group of 6 here. They are Luke, Evan, Andrew, Paul, Craig, and Avery. You guys have heard this many a times because you're longtime supporters of the Patreon campaign, but I think the world of you, and I greatly appreciate you. Thank you for helping me do what I love. It means the world to me. Big thanks to everybody out there watching this review. Like and share it before you go. I'll see you soon for more of them.